My regrets as a hospitality management student and why I changed to education. First of all, when going to school, going to college, before you enter to any profession that you want, you know that you are going to be bombarded with prerequisites, with electives, with things that you really don't need. So it doesn't matter what type of profession you are going for. So the CUNY colleges require you to take the electives in order to prolong your livelihood in college. So I regret going for city college rather than private college. The electives really were a waste of time, but if needed, I took them and there was no other choice. It's either you take it or you're not going for the profession that you want. The next thing is not knowing that in hospitality industry, the hours are outrageous. You will not have the 9-to-5 job. You're actually going to work around the clock. So that means if you want to work in the hotel, you need to be available to work graveyard shifts. You need to be available to stay a little bit longer than your 8-hour shift. Sometimes it is required for you to stay to cover somebody else's shift because they are short-staffed and you might have just no choice and just take it. And I know some managers who are on salary are actually working 13 to 16 hours shift. So making your title as high as you want, but you have to really be committed to the job and not have a life. And that's something that I kind of like found out as towards my ending of the school year, my ending towards my degree. So I felt like, oh, I have one more semester and I'm kind of like just finding out what is it that I'm going to get myself into. Then I found out that degrees are not necessary to be in the hospitality industry. Restaurant managers do not have degrees, general managers do not have degrees, any upper management does not have degree. You only need a degree if you want to work in administration, and even that, you don't need to have a degree. So for me, it was like a bluff. Having a degree, there's like, so what? You're starting from the bottom of the ladder. You are not really starting as a manager or upper management. I remember working together in a classroom as a field work. We had kind of like a dining room area where we actually performed the tasks as servers, and we are talking as we're getting our degrees as restaurant management. And I found out through colleagues and classmates that whoever graduates starts as a dishwasher, not really as a manager. So for me, it was like, what? Like I paid so much money to get the degree in order to be a dishwasher? Something that maybe it was a myth, maybe it was real, I don't know, but that degree is not really of value. The next thing, I also want to emphasize that my brother has associate and he is actually moving up the ladder without having that degree mentioned. Then I realized that in order to get a job in hotels, you need to network, you need to have referrals, you need to get someone who knows you in order to get you in that hotel. So for me, it was very hard to get into a hotel. I had to ask around and not everybody was helpful. So even for my field work, my professors were not that helpful to get me any internship in a hotel. I had to figure out my own way. I had to get my internship through a travel agency or through a restaurant, which were very welcoming, but not hotels for some reason. Then I was working in a restaurant trying to figure out what to do with my degree. I was working in Au Bon Pain, I was working in other restaurants and cafes, and I always came home smelling like food. Like I've been in the kitchen 8 hours and I didn't like that smell. Every time I would just come in with my perfume and the next 5 minutes a coffee spilled it on me, or the food was like sizzling and the smell just cling on me, and I didn't like to be smelling like food. So that was very daunting, and I regret going for hospitality management. Then I realized that in hospitality management, there is no shortcuts. You will have to go up the ladder. So you start from the bottom and slowly you'll build yourself up in a traditional way, unless you know someone who can help you build yourself up in a ladder and skipping those positions and just move ahead. And I felt like it's not really pleasant to be in a place like that. You stand all day, no matter where you are, in the kitchen, front of the house, back of the house, it doesn't matter. You are always standing. It's not flexible, it's not convenient. Yes, they do serve food for the staff in order to stay motivated. Let's say you start at 2 in the restaurant until 12, so in between 4 or 5 before opening, they do serve free food for the staff. But really, that really didn't make me want to stay and continue with hospitality. So I switched to education, where I am capable of doing so many things with a degree. I can be as a therapist, as a special educator, as working one-on-one with agencies, and not worrying about a strict schedule, not worrying about a strict salary, where it's very flexible and very convenient. So if I don't want to work, I can just say I'm canceling my sessions. And if I do want to work and add more hours to my schedule, I can do that through agencies. So that's about it. Let me know what are your regrets and how you make the switch and which career you chose to switch to. Thanks for watching this video. I would love to invite you to be part of my community, where you are a member as a candidate chat room. Upon joining, you will receive tons of information. You will receive templates, ebooks, products, tips, advice, strategies, and weekly emails where you can actually ace your interview, build your career from ground up, and get promoted as needed. You can also ask any questions that you want, and I will be able to answer to my members first and then to my YouTube community. The link to join is in the description. I'm going to see you in the candidate chat room forum.